What are the best old school rave compilation albums of all time, and why do I think you need them in your old school hardcore vinyl collection? The answers to part one of this gigantic question are coming up in this video. Hi, I'm Jack Acid and welcome to the very first old school vinyl review. This is where I review classic old school dance tracks and vinyl from back in the day, helping newbie and old school vinyl heads a chance to build or rebuild an old school record collection to be proud of. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so you know when I've uploaded more video content. One of the unfortunate realities for anyone looking to start a decent old school vinyl collection is the price that many of the tunes swap hands for nowadays. So what is the best and most affordable way to build a seriously impressive old school vinyl collection, one that passes the all-important no commercial rave benchmark and won't break the bank in the process? The answer lies within the humble paper sleeves of these two albums. I love them. Okay, what you're looking at here are what I consider to be two of the greatest old school albums that have ever been committed to vinyl. Now, I know this is a bold claim, so I'm going to preface this by saying that this is just my opinion. But if you have a few minutes, I'll make my case as to why I believe this to be true. Compilation albums are nothing new. They've been around since the advent of vinyl pressing, but really took hold during the rock and roll revolution of the 50s and 60s. Like we all know, they've been a great way for record labels to cash in very quickly by cramming as many of the most popular hits onto one album, be it vinyl, tape or CD. But the problem was that you could always tell that the selection of so-called hits pertaining to showcase the musical trend of the time were clearly selected by men in suits who have nothing more than a vested financial interest within the musical scene that they're selling in. The same holds true to this day, so nothing's changed. But perhaps this has never been so embarrassingly true as in the case of dance music compilations. Now, back in the late 80s and early 90s, the large, well-established record labels all tried to cash in on the then oh-so-soaring popularity of dance music. And using their mighty reach and even mightier bank accounts, they licensed many of the more popular charty rave hits and placed them onto compilation albums. They slapped a cheesy title like That's What I Call Rave on top of them, and then of course, predictably, they went on to sell in huge numbers in the likes of Our Price, HMV, Woolworths and even WH Smith's. Now, I'm sure we've all got stories how we put up with 12 tracks of absolute pure junk in order to get to the one tune that we actually bought the album for. But luckily for us, dance music gave rise to the independent labels like the Mighty Suburban Bass, XL and Moving Shadow, to name a few. Some of these labels started to release compilation albums very early on, such as the magnificent XL recordings, and I'll be making a video about those albums very, very soon. But this is why I love the classics to the core albums so much. They were compiled and they were pressed in 1995, a good few years after the scene that they helped shape was on its way out. Yet they successfully recaptured the spirit and unique madcap energy that was particular to that time in the old school rave scene. A big shout must go out to DJ Aphrodite, who compiled both albums. I hope you're watching this. Now, call it hardcore, call it rave, call it breakbeat house, call it hardcore techno, it doesn't really matter. The sounds on these albums define a genre and a time in the history of dance music that make them unforgettable and highly influential to the scene in multiple ways. Every single one of the tracks is fizzing and bursting with originality from the start, containing an undeniable groove and sonic range that simply have to be heard in a large rave or warehouse for which these tunes were originally intended. All of them are breakbeat tracks of exceptional potency and beauty, yet you can actually dance to these tunes and find a groove and a flow. I think it predates when hardcore started getting silly fast. For me, it encapsulates the golden period within a golden period of hardcore dance music. But best of all, they are mastered and pressed properly on true DJ-friendly vinyl, even which some of the very best rave labels struggled to produce with their compilation albums at the time. All in all, you have just over 20 of the early rave scene's biggest and best tunes here to spin and mix to your heart's content, and currently all in for around the £60 mark. And here's the thing, if you were to buy every one of these tracks on these albums on original vinyl in playable condition, you'd have to spend 10 times that amount and probably more. Now, like all things, these albums are in themselves becoming rarer and more sought after, so make sure you look out for them at your local record collecting shops. I would try to say avoid Discogs if you can. I know they're going there for about £30 each at the moment, but if that's really the only option that you've got left to you, then don't hesitate. They really are that good. And if you really have to spin your old school set on CDJs or digitally, they're also widely and cheaply available on CD, so you can get better MP3 rips from there than you will do off YouTube. Now, whether on vinyl or CD, you'll have the foundations to a serious old school record collection, which you can rightly be proud of. Let me know your thoughts, people. I know this will get the chat section buzzing. I try to read and respond to every comment down there. Perhaps you disagree, perhaps you agree. Let me know why and what these albums mean to you, if anything. And if you've bought them because of my recommendation, let me know your thoughts. I'm dying to know what you think. If you haven't already done so, like and subscribe to the channel for more old school rave content. There is a lifetime of stuff on the way, let me show you. It's a big, vast and absolutely fascinating topic. Until next time, this is Jack Acid signing out. Peace and loveism.